Hey everybody, welcome back to the Good Cop 2.0 conference. I am Maria Papaioannoy, and here with me now is yet another advocate, a fellow consumer advocate, Kurt Yo, who has like the coolest name. It's Papaioannoy, Yo. And Yo. Oh my God, we could do like a little team. Yo and Papaioannoy.
Hello, Maria.
And hello.
Yes, I'm waiting for my royalties from the rap industry, but it's not coming through.
Oh, man, go fight for them. He's the co-founder of Vaping Saved My Life out of South Africa. And thanks for coming here. This is your second COP.
Correct.
Good Cop.
Yes.
My
correct.
second Good Cop. I met you at Good Cop, I think, for the first time.
In Panama, that's
in
correct.
Panama for the first time, which was an absolutely incredible experience of experts and more experts now. You just finished your first panel discussion.
That's correct, yep.
Before doing all this, like what you were on the panel with Clive Bates, and in our world, Clive Bates is like,
Demigod. Yes.
Demigod.
Yes, that's correct.
Do we even have to, just a god?
Wow. Yeah. We don't want to offend too many people.
No,
so
exactly.
Let's just offend some of them.
When you started advocating for this, how long ago was that?
Well, Vaping Saved My Life was officially started in July of 2017. But I think my advocacy started when I managed to quit smoking with the use of flavoured vapes. So that's now approaching, well, it's over 11 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And that advocacy was basically providing products and some advice, as I was learning on the way, to colleagues and family members. And then when I left my corporate career to start a vape shop, the same thing applied. I was the first real official vape shop because we did have a vape cellar in my town, but it was being sold out of their sitting room, not necessarily a shop. So I opened up the first real shop in my town, and the advocacy was just moving in that direction with helping individuals coming through the store and then giving them advice. And in 2019, I decided to scrap the entire commercial part of vaping and focus purely on advocacy. So in essence, I've been advocating for tobacco harm reduction through the use of vaping products since 11 years now.
Oh, wow. When did the shift come to be more public? Like, it does take courage. For me, it's a combination of opportunity and courage.
It was Clive Bates' fault.
Was it?
Yes.
What happened?
I met him in London at the e-cig summit.
Okay.
Because I've been watching Clive for some time and really listening to some of the points he raised, the pragmatism around it, I had to go shake his hand after the session, and I think it was at the Royal Society. I stand in a correction. And he said, no, South Africa really needs a full-time advocate, consumer advocate, to drive it, to drive these discussions. And I blame Clive for giving me the courage to just take that leap. And I also have to thank my wife. I mean, my wife has dealt with a lot of this. She's had to take on a lot of the day-to-day expenditures and income while I started this up. So a big thank you has to go to my wife for supporting me on something that's become a vocation. It's not just a career, it's an absolute vocation, and it's because of the situation I had with my family.
Yeah, absolutely. Our partners are incredible, like my husband. So technically right now, if you look at what's going on in Canada, there's a bill going through that I pretty much can get sued. God bless my husband. He's like, did you get the insurance yet? Just in case. But again, they support us. Some of the things we do is risky. We get verbally attacked. These things happen. But you're here. You have been, like, when did you meet Clive? In 2019, 2020?
2019 when I actually had a face-to-face with Clive, yes.
Because after COVID, you're looking like you're at more events. You're out there. You're speaking on more global level. That's with me too. But it does take courage an opportunity, and you had the opportunity to meet Clive. It took your courage just to go up to him and say thank you. It's not easy when you see someone that is a subject matter expert in the space that
No, absolutely.
that you're learning and you want to make a difference. So again, I use those two words, courage and opportunity, because we can all have the courage we want, but if we don't create or find the opportunities to get our voice out here, like Good Cop 2.0, it is an opportunity, and I'm thankful to the organizers.
No, absolutely. I mean, particularly, coming from the global south and probably one of the, most south countries in the world, and being an African country, we don't get to see people like Clive and the likes migrate to and have big discussions. So we have to literally kick down doors to have these conversations with them. And I've been noted to not be very subtle. I kind of ask for forgiveness rather than permission. So I took the opportunity, as you said, to interrupt Clive's conversation and introduce myself. But it was Clive that said, "Listen, you need to do this, and you need to do this in a big way." And I saw that as a way to go forward.
Well, absolutely. People, and I also think if we get advice from people that we respect and value, we should give it the time and effort to think about it and action it to the best of our abilities. Doesn't mean we have to do exactly what they say, but if you think about it, it makes a huge difference. I'm going to ask you a question, what people might not know, and I found out, I think it was at GFN, which blew my mind away, is that vaping products are illegal in South Africa, but you collect a tax from them.
Well, no, they're not technically illegal.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So no, they're not regulated at all. The only time they were ever just mentioned in regulations in South Africa was during the lockdown, the pandemic lockdown. And that was the first time they actually recognized the product to say, well, we recognize these products, but now you can't buy them because we're locking down. Obviously, when that raised, when that decision was reversed, the next time it actually was mentioned was during our tax bill, where they decided to tax it. But since 2018, the vaping products, or what's termed in the bill as the electronic nicotine or non-nicotine delivery systems, has been in the proposed bill since 2018. But that bill's been just literally floating around since then. So effectively, we have no regulations around vaping products, but there's a tax.
Okay. That just blows. I mean, first there should be regulations,
crazy, yeah?
recognizing them, doing all this, finding a regulatory framework. Hey, I'm going to tell you, from a country that got regulated, just keep it where it's at.
Well, it's actually an interesting thing, because I've raised it a couple of times, particularly in some of the discussions that I've had with our Treasury Department, our Department of Finance, and saying, so basically what you're saying is that the only thing that anybody can buy these products, including the kids, so literally a 7-year-old can go into a shop and buy a vape product. As long as they pay the tax, it's fine, right? Which obviously generates some raised eyebrows.
Yeah,
effectively that's what it is that anybody can buy these products, irrespective of how they're regulated or the standards, as long as you pay the tax, that's all.
I'm going to tell you something. If you can find a way just to add a few little regulations, but that's not going to happen. No. You're looking at a country like Canada that went from, oh, these regulations are wonderful, to honestly some of the most prohibitive in the world, only because they were mismanaged from the top coming down, and it's from the bottom coming up where they're making it more difficult. But again, I'm going to change that with consumers, with experts and stuff like that. And that's only because we continue to share stories. And that's something Vaping Saved My Life is the basis of, changing stories, correct?
Well, that's
sharing stories.
So it was, yes. I mean, the whole premise around Vaping Saved My Life was a platform that we created on Facebook, where we invited former smokers, now vapers, to share their stories on how they had managed to quit smoking with vaping products. Unfortunately, in 2019, December 2019, Facebook deleted all of those testimonials because it went against community guidelines. So we had to start all over again in 2020. So we've managed to create a substantial testimonial database of individuals, but we also do things like surveys. And then obviously I interact with policymakers when I'm given the opportunity, and do interviews with our press when given an opportunity. But those are far and few between. So
I know that. I know that feeling.
So we sometimes force our way through, particularly a right to reply. But then again, I mean, it's a hard slog to get yourself heard. But again, we won't stop because it is so important.
Nope. I think the magic formula for a good advocate is patience and persistence.
Patience and persistence, and not being scared to be a broken record, because we repeat the same mantras, the same myth-busting lines time and time again. Oh. And I really wish that I got $1 for every time someone said popcorn lung. I wouldn't be here. In fact, I would probably be hosting a counter FCTC with the money we got from that.
Oh my God, I hear you on that. Is South Africa at COP?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yes.
We were one of the very first countries to sign the FCTC.
I think we wrote it, so we beat you on that.
We see the point is that Derek Yak was one of the architects, and he's a South African. So.
But he's on your side. he's on our side. Yeah, he's on our side. So. Unfortunately, our architects are all over there.
Yep.
They're still there. Actually, no, maybe David Sweener was part of it.
No, he was part of it, and he's on our side, yeah.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if he was an architect of FCTC. But anyways, we're digressing. I can't speak for him. I'll text him and ask him.
He was definitely involved in it. I think because Derek has definitely mentioned that his involvement.
Yeah, but you do have some of the Canadians that were the architects, like Denis Chouinard, who used to work for the government of Canada. He retired last year. I was not invited to his retirement party, which shocks me.
Yeah, neither was I.
Yeah, it's okay. But if there was one message to the delegates there that you wanted them to hear loud and clear, what would that be? To the official delegation.
There's so many points to cover here, but my statement is always going to be there was a mission, and the mission was to reduce smoking. And the reason why we wanted to reduce smoking was to reduce the impact that smoking had on public health, individuals and public health. And we called that non-communicable diseases. And because smoking was the single, and still is the single biggest cause of non-communicable diseases around the world, that mission still stands. So my message to the delegation is, let's stick to the mission. The mission is to reduce the harms of smoking. That's very clearly illustrated in the preamble of the FCTC. I'm not an FCTC expert. We have the likes of Jeannie that will raise some of the technicalities around it. But I'm just saying, as a consumer, as a person that had struggled to quit smoking, smoked for so long, have seen my parents and my grandfathers and my uncles and family friends all die from smoking-related diseases. That mission still is valid today as it's ever been. Why are we walking away from any opportunity to see those issues addressed and see them eliminated as best as possible through using innovation? So in order for us to do that, we need to open those doors. We need to have those open and frank conversations. And we need to have people around the table from all aspects and all spectrums to deal with this. Shutting them behind closed doors, keep stigmatizing individuals, basically placing labels on them as being tobacco shrills. Let's get past that. I mean, that's kindergarten stuff.
I know. Let us move forward.
The mission is still there. It's always going to be there as long as we see people dying from smoking-related diseases. Why can't we have these honest conversations? Why do we have to hide behind? Why do we have to have a separation of good cop and bad cop? Why can't we just have the conference of the people?
Because we have a conference of the parties, and the parties think they're better than the people.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, Derek, oh my goodness. Kurt, thank you. Kurt, Yo and Papaioannoy-Duic here.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining us here. For everyone else, please follow along all good COP during our time here in Geneva. You can use the link in the description of this podcast.